I don't need you to be giving me head while you trying to fix the camera. Nah. Focus on me, sweetheart.
Who do you really think you are?
You know, slap you around, punch you in the face.
Yikes. Okay. Conventionally attractive partner.
I don't hurt people.
Unless they want to be.
Or financially stable.
Ooh.
Unless they want it. Yes?
Money makes you fine. Money can make you real fine.
It makes me go quicker to just the sex.
Who taught us this?
Yeah, you can have a fat ass and a big dick.
But
I don't know who taught us this.
But what else can you do for me? Once I nut and once, I'm done fucking you up side down and you're, making me submit to you and give it to me. And I'm like, what happens next?
I mean, polyamory might be that thing. I don't know.
The emotion and the talking and the feelings, maybe that's why you're breaking up with me. If there's interest, why am I waiting?
Not being able to be yourself in and of itself is a trauma.
Here's the kicker. Don't play with my time.
With my buddy.
Right.
I just bought you from Applebee's. You're going to do it today.
Let's do gay stuff.
You gotta be too something to do something.
Let me keep it about with you. You want real?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Don't Get Me Started, the show where real rants on real life can get rowdy really respectfully and quickly here. Today, I have the gentlemen from Too Tall Podcast, Derek and Quentin, better known as D and Q. Y'all give it up for D and Q. What's up?
Hey.
All the way from the boogie down, y'all. They are dedicated to it, all right? They came all the way over here to Jersey. I'm so thankful. Thank you all for coming in and joining me. What's up? What's going on?
It's good to be here. We survived the beautiful city of Jersey City. No, it's nice. It's nice, and we're thankful to be here and honored to be here. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you for having us over for real.
Sweet. Today, y'all, we are going to get into all of the things about relationships and dating right here in this gay community. I thought it would be really fun to have the fellas over and kind of jump into a conversation about it, talk about it, and get into the things and see how they feel about relationships and dating. So, before we jump into the conversation, y'all know I like fun stuff. We're going to do an icebreaker, okay?
Sweet.
So this icebreaker is called This or That. I'm going to ramble off some situations. You'll get two choices, and you have to choose one or the other. Okay. You can't choose both. You have to choose one. Which is a better first date, dinner or a movie? Quentin.
I'm going to say dinner.
Dinner? Okay.
Because you can actually talk to each other.
I feel the same way. What about you?
I say movie.
Movie.
It makes me go quicker to just the sex. So.
Now, is this a movie at the movies or is this a movie at home?
Right. Oh, that's a good question.
Because if it's going quicker in the sex, then I don't know. Unless you're into a movie theater thing,
Listen,
I'm not opposed.
If I'm going to go see Sinners and we're having a good time, we can, have a good time on our way to the bedroom. We can talk about the movie on our way to the bedroom.
Okay.
Get down to it. So.
Okay. Not bad. I ain't mad at it. Monogamy or polyamory? I'll go with you first.
Once upon a time it was monogamy, but I think I'm open to poly.
Okay, gotcha.
That's the way the world's going, and if I can find love in that, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, how about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna answer very similarly. I would have said monogamy originally because that's just how I was raised and all that kind of stuff like that. But as life has gone on and life experience has gone on, I don't know. I mean, polyamory might be that thing. I don't know.
Interesting.
We'll
stick a pin in that one and come back in the conversation for that. Bad communication or bad sex?
This is what I would want.
Yes, you got to. But if you have to choose between one or the other, bad communication or bad sex?
Bad communication, because at least the sex can make up for the bad communication.
Wow. Okay. There.
Bad sex, because if it's bad communication, then I'm trying to link with somebody and I'm missing their text messages, they're missing mine. There wasn't going to be no sex, so I just take the bad sex.
Okay.
I can make sex look good. I'm sick of the side.
Breakups. Would you rather them face to face or over the phone?
I will say over the phone. pussy. I don't care for the emotion and the talking and the feelings. Maybe that's why you're breaking up with me.
Okay. How about you, Quinn?
150,000% in person.
Yes,
because
talk
as
about
somebody who has experienced it through a text message, it is like a gut punch. It's like a gut punch. So yeah, definitely in person, please.
Got you. Okay. Conventionally attractive partner or financially stable?
Ooh.
Yes, you.
Easy. Financially stable. Money makes you fine. Money can make you real fine. Money can make you so fine.
I love it. Quinn say, baby, if you got the money, we can make anything happen.
Okay.
What do you say?
I'm gonna say the same. You know?
Okay.
I actually, this may be the Leo in me. I don't want to date anybody that's close to my height or looks better than me because I just.
Y'all see how that lion just jumped out? Y'all see how that lion just jumped out of him?
You know,
My God.
I try to stay away from dudes that are close to my height. I don't have an ego, but if we're in a relationship and we're out, I want people to look at me for my height, and you know, I want that other person to have more swagger than me. You know. Yeah.
The last one. Would you rather have a kink-driven sex life or a vanilla sex life? Cute.
I would say kink. I mean, vanilla. You can always revert to vanilla.
Got you. Okay, so you
Yeah,
like a little
kink.
spice more than... Okay, got you. How about you?
I say kink, slap you around, punch you in the face.
Yikes. Okay.
I thought.
No, it's
Punch
fine.
you in the face.
We don't yum, no yums over here. If that's how you get down, do your thing. But do it safe and do it consensually.
I don't hurt people. I'm
Unless
very.
they want to be.
Unless they want it, clearly. Yes? Okay, I don't know. Y'all better watch out for Derek. You know, he's tall as hell, so you're going to have to take him down with a harpoon or something. All right, so like I said, I wanted to have this conversation because you all know how I am about finding my conversational fodder online. And more often than not, you all are always having random conversations about how the dating pool is shit. You're always talking about, I'm tired of tops, bottoms, and birds. I'm tired of all of this. I can't find nobody, yada, 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 all this other stuff. So I figured I would bring my friends on so we can have a deep dive into this conversation and really figure out what's with relationships and dating. What do you find is the best way to meet a potential person to date?
Shit. They may be a sponsor for our Too Tall podcast with DQ, but I like to say Jack.
Jack? Okay.
Jack has brought me 2 friendships that I care for.
Okay.
And it's not just for sex. I always say Jack can be used for anything.
Mm-hmm.
I had met a good friend, and me and him have been friends for 5 years. We haven't had sex or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we hang out, we chill, we vibe. But yeah, some of these dating apps play a good part. Now, Grindr's, in my opinion, completely for sex. It's very rare you find someone that really wants to get to know you or, quote, vibe with you.
Mm-hmm.
But also it depends on the person, hopefully you don't mind me saying our story.
Yeah, go ahead.
I met Quentin off Adam for Adam.
Got my name already?
And I met him in December.
Mm-hmm.
We vibed like that, and I asked him early January, hey, would you like to be my co-host? And here we are, got to the point that we're on a hit show like Don't Get Me Started. So, it works. And me and him, we have a good relationship. We hang out. It's not always about our show, but we have a good connection, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
I did that. Okay.
I didn't believe it yet, but we'll talk about this later.
No infighting on the show. All right, so the apps work for you.
Yeah, that.
Okay. What you know about you?
I'm a little more old school. Like, I actually like when you meet somebody in person because, there's no we all have our representative even when we meet in person.
Yes, absolutely.
But even in that context, though, when you meet somebody in person, the representative is still physically in front of you. It's not a picture.
Yes.
It's not,
Yeah.
I chose this picture out of 100 pictures to display for you to see. Like, I see you, you see me, we see what the vibe feels like.
Right.
And it's just natural. We're
Yeah.
out in a realistic, scenario with other people around. I'm assuming if we're at a bar or something like that. So I just like the in-person more. I think.
Gotcha.
But I don't know that it happens as much now since apps are the world. But
Yeah.
hey, I like that.
Listen, I will say that it's been a long time since I've actually been in the dating scene. But in all of my relationships, I have found more people that I have come to date in face-to-face situations more than apps. More so because
I'm gay of a certain age, and the apps came later.
And even when like pre-apps time, when it was just the Adam for Adams, the Men for Now, the Black Gay Chat, BGC, for those that came a little bit later. Shout out to BGC, we miss you so much. So that like that opened the spectrum for meeting people, and gave us a way to connect a little bit quicker. But I've always found that meeting people face to face worked the best for me, just because I could not imagine trying to find a date now on apps, because I feel like as somebody that's, you know, not in the dating scene right now, I just think that having so many options readily available for folks is contributing to the dating pool of shit factor.
Yeah.
I just think that with us as gay men, being able to just, you know, click and touch and see all this stuff is like, some people get really distracted with that. And I think that plays a big part. What do y'all think about that?
I want to piggyback off that. We did an episode about this because I'm passionate about this. Anybody that knows, I like communication more than anything. If I don't feel like you're communicating with me, then this isn't going to work. I feel like one of the disadvantages about these apps, you know, keep it about what you want real. Originally, when I hit up DeVille, said his name, whatever, I hit up my friend DeVille. It was the fuck, but you know, we met. He said to me, I'll never forget, we're not having sex. 5 years later, we're still friends, and he kept his word.
There you go.
But I feel like we don't have communication because we see the body. I'm like, oh yeah, you got some nice abs, and then we just stay there talking about trading pictures and where you at. So I feel like in person, you get the dialogue to have a conversation. That's what's missing from the gay community, in my opinion. We don't have a communication. Yeah, you can have a fat ass and a big dick, but what else can you do for me? Once I nut, and once, you know, I'm done fucking you up side down, and you're, you know, making me submit to you, and yeah, give it to me, and I'm like, you know, what happens next? You know, I want to talk to you, I want to vibe with you, but you know, they'll be like, nah, nigga, I just want the nut. Get your big goofy ass out. Not saying who said that. You know? But let me know. I'm on a big show.
Okay. It's all right. It's all right. But like, so. I get what you're saying, like, you know, you like for the communication to be strong and to be there, you like to be direct and things like that, but my caveat to that is that I think that while it's easy to be direct about wanting to have sex with somebody, I think that people are struggling more with the after of that, which is like, it seems like there are more people that are looking for sex or the next best thing in opposition to what they put out into their Twitter feeds about wanting to be in a relationship and I can't find anybody and all this other stuff. It's like, okay, but the things that you're doing are not really feeding this dream or lining up with what you want, right?
Right.
Yeah. I think that's a large part of it.
And that's the reason why I took a break from dating. The dude I was dating, you know, he wanted, you know, I took him out, we vibed, but he wanted to have sex and make content, and I wasn't for that, so he wasn't for it either. I guess that's the new way where people are making content. But call me old-fashioned if what I'm doing with my partner doesn't need to be televised. You know, I don't need you to be giving me head while you trying to fix the camera. No. Focus on me, sweetheart. You know? Sorry. Just be real.
It's all right. Okay. When we talk about communication, I find that a lot of people want communication, but they don't want to seem too interested or thirsty, as it was.
I'm so glad I came on to this.
Folks don't want to do a double text. They don't want to call too much. They don't want to DM too much. And I just find that very interesting, because if you don't go for what you're trying to attain or show interest, then how will you ever actually get there? So then my question becomes, why do you think people downplay showing interest or having intent when it comes to meeting somebody? What is that about? Cool.
So I would say I don't know the exact answer as far as why, like the real why we do it. But I think that game, because that's what it is, it's a game, goes beyond gay relationships, or the gay world, bi, straight, poly, it doesn't matter what you are. There's this game that somebody taught us we're supposed to play where you're not supposed to be too easy in the beginning. So you got to kind of play hard to get, but then you don't want to like step back too far so the person doesn't know that you're interested. But it's like, if somebody sends you a message, okay, I can't answer like right back because then they're gonna think I'm thirsty.
Right.
So I gotta give a little time so they think I'm a little busy, you know, because I got stuff going on they need to think about. But I really am into them though.
Yes.
But then if I'm too quick to text back, then they'll think I'm too available, and then that makes me like too easy, and it's not worth going after me. So then they'll go on to somebody else. It's this game, and like men and women do it, men and men do it, women and women do it. Like I don't know who started this game that goes back and forth between people who are interested in each other, but it is a thing. And we all do it, we all know about it. Because even if you talk to your friends, right, and you're like, oh, I'm really feeling this dude, you know, he been hitting me up, or I'm hitting him up, and all this stuff like that.
Right.
They'll still give you that same type of advice, you know, oh, you know, show me these pictures and stuff like that, but don't be too thirsty, you know, don't get too much and all that. And it's like we all give each other that same bullshit advice. Who taught us this?
You know what?
I don't know who taught us this.
It's crazy.
For real.
I personally feel like what it is that everyone has this very heightened sense of self. Like I always ask people, like, who do you really think you are? You are literally a drop in the bucket in this sea of people that we live on this earth with. And it's like, who are you to be so important that you can't show interest? Because for me, if I'm feeling you, we're gonna be locked in because I need you to understand that I'm interested. And you know, later on in the conversation, we'll talk about intention and the reason why we go after folks and stuff like that. But I don't have time to be playing the I'm too cool for school game or yeah, you cool or whatever. But you know, it's all right. I ain't gonna text you until like 3 days after we met. That doesn't make sense to me. Because at that point, I'm just gonna drop the ball. It's like, okay, well, if you don't want me to hit you up, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do.
I'm the total opposite. You should know when I see something I want, I'm gonna hit you. Well, hey, you know, I'm just very forward. I'll send pictures within the first 2 minutes if there's a good vibe. I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna push.
Listen, please don't.
If there's interest, why am I waiting? But here's the kicker. Don't play with my time. We're gonna be on the same energy. You know, we're going to be on the same vibe. If I'm interested, I want you to be interested as well. There was a dude that hit me up yesterday. I loved his energy. He's hit me up on Jack. We was chatting and everything. He told me, I like how tall you are. I want to vibe with you, and I definitely want to have sex with you. And I was like, all right. But it wasn't because he was good looking. He didn't sugarcoat. He kept it real, told me his attention. One of the things I hate the most when people do, where you at, what you into. I'm into Pokemon. What are you doing here? Let's get straight to it. When I came into this scene or lifestyle, and that's something we got to talk about, the difference between lifestyle and scene, but that's for a different day. I didn't understand why people will give these little questionnaire. What are you into? Where are you at? Let's just, we know what we're here for. Forget the labels and gay, straight. Let's just have a good time, you know. I'm very straightforward, but I got hurt multiple times. There's always saying fools rush in, and I'm a fool because sometimes I do get attached too quickly, and I end up being the one that I get my feelings hurt. But I don't know. I like to wear my heart on my sleeve and just go for it.
Okay. Now that's a really good segue into my next question. Do you know your attachment styles? Or do you know what that is?
I'm not quite sure what you mean by attachment styles.
Well, I do. The moment that I'm responding back to a man's text message like that means I'm already attached. I'm already attached.
So when it comes down to attachment styles, it's basically how you navigate your relationships and how connected you are to that person. Like, for instance, I used to have a very anxious attachment style where I felt like if you weren't paying attention to me or something like that, like you were gonna leave, or if I'm not connected, if you got upset about something, then I would instantly think that it was something that I did. So that's an anxious attachment style. So It's something that I learned about recently that I think is really important for people to learn because we all relate to people in different ways. And we all have different histories and different, what I like to call visions of love, which is basically what we grew up seeing as love and relationships. And more often than not, if you really like sit down to think about who you grew up around, the relationships you grew up around, and things like that, and then like take a look at how that mirrors up with the relationships you've been in and how you like navigate your relationships, you might find some correlations. So I challenge y'all out there to definitely check out your attachment styles. And if you know what your attachment style is, drop it down in the comments below so we can have more conversation about that. Do you date with the intention to develop a relationship, or do you just let things go with the flow?
Oh God, I hate that one.
Come on, Derek. Come on. You jumped up there. Let's talk about it.
I'm really not a person of the go with the flow. I like to lead the flow. The flow should be me and you, or whatever our intentions are. If we're hooking up, it's going to lead to hooking up. If we're building a friends with benefit, it's going to lead to friends with benefit. Let's not go with the flow. We both know what we want. Let's take the time to vibe. But I like to have a attention. I like to have a set goal. When I was dating, the dating was to build a connection, to build a relationship. So I don't really like to go with the flow. It takes too long. Let's go on a few dates. If you're still feeling me after the third date, then we got something going. If not, then don't ghost me. Be a man and say you're not interested.
Okay, very interesting. Q, how about you?
I'll say go with the flow, with a caveat though that like in the very beginning.
Oh, you heard me? I heard you. Everybody heard you. No, go ahead.
But in the beginning though, I think there should be a conversation in the very beginning. Like, what are not what are you into? Sorry. But like, kind of in that vein, but like, what are you looking for?
Gotcha.
Kind of a thing. Like, is this just a sex thing? Like you said, is this just a sex thing? Is this a friends with benefits thing? Are you looking to just be open and just hang out with people? You want new friends? Like, what are you looking for? And then based on that, we can continue forward based on that discussion. Now, however, there need to be like check-ins at certain points or something like, we've been hanging out for a while, I'm feeling like this, or, how are you feeling? Where are we now? Like, I think that's cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, we have these conversations and we always go into it with the things that you all have said. Like, it should be like this. You should go in with your intentions, say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is where I'm trying to go. Boom, 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 boom. But how often does that really happen? Because I find that we say this a lot, and in like real time, most folks do not do that. They don't do that. Folks will like spit out all of these very flowery and beautiful expectations about what they want. Oh, I'm looking for somebody to date and call my own. I want a relationship. I want to live together. I want to do all of this. But then you turn around and you go, oh, but I'm not going to call you in the first 2 days because I don't want to seem too thirsty. Or, if you got friends, that you're real close with, I don't know how much I like that because I don't know if y'all fucking blah, 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 blah. I don't know how often we're really going into the conversation with those intentions out in front.
Here's the kicker. Up until now, and especially like our generations for sure, we didn't have an example of how this thing goes. We're just figuring out this shit every single day.
How about that?
We didn't see gay relationships on TV. Most of us didn't see gay relationships modeled in front of us for real because either we grew up in a heterosexual world or the gay people that we knew or didn't know that we knew were hiding in the closet anyway, so we didn't see what that was. And even if we saw them, they were hiding, so that taught us we're supposed to hide. We didn't know what healthy gay relationships look like, and so we try to base our relationships on what we've seen heterosexual people do, and we come with a whole different set of issues than they have. I mean, it's just a whole lot of stuff there that like we are really figuring this shit out. I mean, like maybe 50 years from now, 100 years from now, the younger ones will have visions. we'll have examples of people like us who have been out and who have been doing, and then they will have at least some kind of a roadmap that they can build off of.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any roadmap. We are literally like figuring this out with a blind leading the blind, just trying to figure it out on our own. Also, because we didn't have those examples growing up, and because a lot of us, not everybody, but a lot of us spent a lot of time hiding who we were back then, we also come into this dating thing with a whole bunch of undealt with traumas.
Talk about
and
it.
And then this person with trauma, this person with trauma come together and try to build a relationship. We're both messed up over here in our individualities, and then we come together, two messed up people come together trying to make this thing work, and we both come in with like these life things that we've gone through that we haven't worked through yet. So it's deep.
Yeah.
It's deep.
Do you feel like black gay men have it hard to date because they was first, it's in some communities, in the black community, it's frowned upon to be gay and everything, so they had to figure out who they was and try to be themselves and live every day being a queer man, a black man, a black gay man. So they're trying to find themselves at the same time. While they're trying to find themselves, they couldn't find the energy to love someone else because they're learning to love themselves. Do you think black gay men deal with that the most, the worst?
I think that we have a very unique setup when it comes to that. I won't say the most because we've all had some form of oppression when it comes to dating, whether you're gay or straight. But I will say, for all the things you've mentioned, because we're not accepted in society, it does make it very difficult for us. And being in closets, as it were, for lengthy periods of time, and some of us never come out, which creates a whole nother level when it comes down to relating to other people and finding someone to relate and be in a relationship with. It makes it even more difficult. So to answer your question, yes, I really do think that it plays a really big part in why we find it so hard to be in relationships, and like touching on what you said earlier, Q, about how not being able to be yourself in and of itself is a trauma that we live with for extended periods of time. So dealing with that trauma and then also wanting to have someone to be in a relationship with creates this friction and this chaos and confusion all over the place.
I think as black men, we are held to a different level of masculinity than our white counterparts, and I'm gonna even say maybe Latinos too, but definitely more than white males are. I mean, they can joke around with each other, ooh, that's my buddy, right. They might kiss each other and do let's do gay stuff. Black men, like that it's not, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
So we are held to a different level of masculinity. So any sign of anything that might be considered effeminate or feminine, and then you get to say gender level, oh wow. So it's like it's a whole different ballgame for us.
What do you not want? What are you not going to deal with flat out? It's just not going. I expect you to be ready with this one. I am so surprised.
I don't want to keep going at the communication because it's
listen, if it's your thing,
it's other things that pisses me off that makes me want to just lose interest quickly. I will probably say somebody that ties in, but if I'm out on a date with you and you're not able to hold a conversation, or if you're talking about something that doesn't interest me and there's no common interest, then I'm gonna probably keep it moving. I don't want to be bored. You're not there to entertain me, but I want us to have a good conversation. This is gonna sound cheesy, but when I'm with somebody, I want the whole world to be blocked out. Like if I was on a date right now, that siren will be blocked out because I'm looking at this person. Wow, this dude he has a good job. All his teeth's in there. His credit score is good. I checked it because he went to the bathroom.
Wow!
What? Stuff like that.
He's crafty.
Credit is my number one non-negotiable. I can't believe I had to think about it for a second. So I have been in a domestic violence relationship before in my life, and so any sign of a certain type of aggression from you or a reaction doesn't even necessarily have to be towards me, But if I just see the display of it, because I know certain things to look for now that I didn't then, that show me, oh, okay, this person has a propensity to get angry and maybe get a little physical or something, I can. I did that for 2 years, and I was in a space where I didn't see myself, as good enough to get out of the situation, all that, which is a whole nother discussion. But now I understand people who are stuck in those situations, and people are like, just leave. I get it now. But any sign of too much aggression in a negative, I mean, some aggression, whatever, we all have some, but like too much aggression in the wrong way, and especially if it's directed at me, oh no, baby.
Yeah, I get that.
May I add another one that just popped up? It's a couple. It's a combo. I don't want to be with anybody that's DL or party. DL, I'm not really for that. That was cute when I was 16, but now it's come to the point where there's dudes who are sleeping around when they got baby mamas and everything. I don't like stuff like that. I like to be who I am. I'm proud to be who I am. I'm too tall for the closet. I used to always say. I don't want to be around somebody who, if I'm trying to go out with them, they're not gonna, even though I don't do public displays of affection, but if I wanted to kiss you, you're gonna be like, yeah, nigga, I don't do that shit. I just bought you from fucking Applebee's. You're gonna do it today. But in a partying, I used to think partying when I came out, I thought it was like, partying. So like, I said, yeah. And, I went to this dude's house, I bought some beer and stuff. I'm like, all right, I'm about to get lit, I'm ready to party. I come to the dude, he has, this, I'm like, I didn't know at the time that meant party. I thought it was like an actual party. I was slow back then. But I stay away from stuff like that. And there's no judgment here, but please, get yourself help. You are worth more than the drug, period.
I can definitely agree with both of you all. Listen, you all know that I'm very famous for telling you that if you are not openly queer or gay, I just can't fuck with you at all. I need to see my skills before they come to me. I'm not doing none of that hiding shit. I need all the colors of the rainbow on display. We are not doing that. I've come entirely too far to be going back in anybody's closets. We're not doing that. I gel with you as well when it comes down to aggression, because I've always said if we have to put our hands on each other in an aggressive way in any shape, form, or fashion, we're not doing it. It's an instant drop. I'm not, no, because I don't work like that. If you cannot use your words to get your point across, if you cannot collect yourself, step away, any of the things to deal with your aggression, your anger, we can't. Not at all. Absolutely not. And then also, I'm big on communication as well. But my thing is, my communication is not just communicating, you also have to understand comprehension. We can talk all day long. We can have all of the great conversations, but if you are not comprehending the words that are coming out of my mouth and understanding why I'm saying the things I'm saying, we can't do nothing here. It's just not gonna work. And that took a while for me to learn, because I thought that just being able to talk to somebody was gonna work. It was cool, we can talk, we have a good time, we have great conversations, that's great. But it didn't work because I'm like, first of all, learning how to communicate, I feel like is very, very important, because many of us have issues with communication because, again, some of the ways that we were raised do not afford us the ability to communicate in a way that works in relationships. I'll use myself for an example. My nana, love her to death, shout out to you, girl, taught me that things understood need not be spoken. So if there's something going on and I feel like you should just know, I'm never going to say anything about it. But that's terrible for relationships, because I'm sitting over here fuming because I think that you understand that leaving your socks in the bathroom floor is pissing me off, and that's not where they belong. But if I don't say anything about it, you're going to keep doing it, and now I'm pissed off until the mercury gets all the way to the top of the thermometer, and then I go in the bathroom, I trip over your socks, and I'm ready to take your head off. You have to understand how to communicate and comprehend what you want to say.
And with that said too, I mean, we all have different experiences, even though if you're in the same relationship with somebody, you're having a different experience. Yes. I literally just read something this week not exactly a relationship, but it's the same concept. A brother and sister, brother and brother, whatever, two siblings who grew up in the same house, same parents. Let's say they're twins. They still do not have the same parents, and they did not have the same growing up experience.
Totally
even though
experience.
they grew up at the same time, same house, same parents. Because in one's mindset, they see their parents a certain way, they see their way they're received by their parents a certain way. The other one sees it in their own purview, world purview or whatever. Same in a relationship. We're both in the same relationship, even if we live together or whatever. I see it one way because I'm in my brain and how things are coming into my brain and how I'm seeing it. You see it in your brain, the way things are going into your brain and the way you're seeing it. And if we don't talk about the way we are experiencing this thing together, then we're going to be on separate pages thinking that we're together because we're both here together.
Right.
But we're having two different experiences, though.
There you go. So being together in relation is not enough. The experience is way bigger than that. I like that. Do you consider yourself a person? Where did that come from? A person that's an approacher, or do you like to be approached? Because I feel like that's a big factor in dating.
I like to be a. No, sorry. I was about to lie to you.
Because you was about to let it come out your mouth. I'm like,
I like to.
You stand back!
I like to be the approacher. My height plays a factor. Pros and cons. I'm a big 6'7" dude, so not that many people are gonna come in. Because sometimes I don't really come off as present as gay or whatever. Don't cancel me, or I look very intimidating. So I like to just take the ball, approach them. Sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't. I notice that everybody always like to start off with basketball. I don't like to play basketball, but if it gets the conversation going and gets me closer to me buying a drink, I'll pretend to know who the Knicks are.
I prefer more rather to be approached.
okay.
Yes,
plus pearls, hold it down. I love it.
Like, girl.
Yes, I love it.
I'm myself, just here. Yes. No, but for real, I like to be approached though. However, I am trying to work on being more aggressive or the approacher because, like you said, zero of the shots you take.
Listen, 100% of the shots that you don't take. Listen,
right,
you gotta shoot your shot. You gotta shoot your
shot. So yeah, but I do if I had a choice, I like to be approached though.
Why do people treat dating like a competition? I hear this so often, and it drives me crazy because there is literally somebody for everybody. And I believe that we sell ourselves short a lot because we pay a lot of attention to what societal norms are and we try to follow those things. And we end up falling short and we miss out a lot trying to compete with other people. So what is that about? Why do we treat it like a competition?
It's gay men can't let other gay men win. It's like females. I always wonder why females can't get along. Females cannot get along. There was an episode where we talked about this on the podcast on Family Guy where they, females, they have this thing where they give a compliment, but in the back of their mind, just fucking slut, she looks so big. But men, I feel, and this is my honest opinion, I feel straight men can get along and be friends. But gay men, just with a female mentality, they're always gonna one each other up. I don't know why is that. Not all gay men are like that, but that's just my honest opinion.
I gotta push back on that a little bit because when it comes down to women, they already have it hard enough because people already feel like they have women pegged. Because we put them in, a lot of folks put them in these boxes about what a woman should be. She should be soft, she should be real, she should not be loud. She's always going to be catty, all this other stuff. I think that that's unfair, and it's untrue. Because the reality of the matter is that all of us are just people, and we all possessed masculine and feminine energies, as it were, because we were born of masculine and feminine energies. So we're going to carry all different types of characteristics. Thank you for coming word. Characteristics within ourselves, regardless of our gender. Now, when it comes down to what you said about gay men not allowing each other to win, yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. And I say that only because in this world, whether you are gay or straight, that's going to be a thing. You're going to have somebody hating on you at every turn.
Yeah.
It never fails. I don't care what you are. If you're pan, if you're bi, experimental, whatever, there's always going to be somebody hating on you. So, but somebody else's opinions of you really doesn't constitute what happens in your life when it comes to relationships and dating. And I say that because what you eat don't make me shit. Like, you can want somebody all day long, but I'm over here macking and I'm getting my groove on, and I don't care what you say about me. You can try to hate from outside the club, but I'm already in. So, do with that what you will. I'm not going to be worried about it.
I don't know exactly why. I don't think everybody does. Like, I feel like I'm not one of those people, and you can't say everybody of any group is anything. But if I just had to make my own assessment of it, I would say because we are still, definitely in the past, but even in today's times, we're still considered like the outsiders of society. We're the outliers. We're not the normal people. And so I think on some level there might be some sense of trying to prove ourselves. Like I'm worthy. Prove our worthiness.
Yes.
And sometimes we're doing it with each other, which is like, you're an outsider, I'm an outsider, why are we trying to do this? But then again, we do it in the black community too, with each other as well. So I think it falls in that we are kind of deemed as less than sometimes, or social deviants, or whatever, and so we're still trying to prove our worth when you don't really need to prove that. You are worthy because you're here, period. And I'm even telling that to myself, by the way.
Listen, we do that around these parts. I don't think that there's something to compete with. I think that people are getting hung up on trying to be the prize and be chosen, which is why it's become this competition. Like, hearing you say, oh, I don't like trying to go out and get a dude on Pride because now I got to compete with these muscle heads over here and blah, blah, blah. When I know a litany of men, including myself, that do not get off on muscular men.
Let me know that.
For me, you got to be too something to do something. And I'm not into muscular dudes. I've always loved thick, fat, chubby, big men. That's always been my thing. So, and then something else that I find very interesting with that statement, and something else that I've learned is, what you might find very interesting is that muscleheads don't always go for muscleheads. Most of the time, they're looking for men just like you. Yeah, you. And also, like, another thing that I feel like is stopping us in relationships and dating is that folks are too afraid of rejection. It's a part of life, sweetheart. It's going to happen. Now, can you control how people reject you? No. Should people not be fucking assholes and dicks about not being interested in you? Absolutely. Because that's the part that I feel is very problematic. Yeah. If I don't find you attractive, I don't need to call you a gutter-mouth skank and tell you get the fuck out of my face. It's not necessary. I can simply say, thank you so much, my love, but I'm not interested, and let it go. It's just that simple. We don't have to fight about it. We don't have to do no back and forth. And then on top of that, you as the person that's being rejected, don't turn around and call me fucking ugly anyway when you was just trying to get the dick. Stop that. Yeah. Just stop. Like, if you get rejected, pay it. Move on to the next man. Like, there are too many of us out here to be hung up on not getting what you want, because you're not always going to get the person you want.
You know, not everybody wants you. Not everybody wants the abs. You know, I like, simple dudes, like dudes that are bald and 5'7", you know? Quentin, how you doing?
Wow!
I'm 5'6", is that close?
Oh! So tell me about a trend in dating that you cannot stand right now. What's a trend in dating that you hate at this moment?
But I notice couples do not talk no more. They're on their phones and Instagramming. They're Jill, Jack, and John don't need to know what I'm doing. Let's just be in the moment. You know, I hate. I had this one dude I dated. Yo, let's do this boomerang. I'm 30. I'm not gonna lie. What the fuck is a boomerang? I'm like, he was like, it was just going in and out. I'm like, I'm not trying to let people look at my chicken fajita and it's going, you know. What happens is just the old school just talking. I don't mind if we take a picture after we eating, but people don't need to look at. People look at me already. A whole train just looked at me coming here. You know, I don't need that energy. I just want the focus on you. So that's one of the trends. Everybody's always on their phone, TikTok, looking at this dance, and I'm like, what? Let's just be here. Let's be in the moment. So that's me.
I'm gonna say the same thing because I'm also old school. I'm not from this new generation. So yeah, I'm gonna say the same thing. Like, it's cool, you know, we post us on social media or whatever. Like, we can do one picture from today or whatever. But there are some people, they're like, oh my God, let's get the photo here and let's get this angle here. And this one date has like 20 posts. Why?
Yeah, I
People
mean,
need to see every single second of everything that we did. Like, can we be in this moment? And then, you know, we can post about it after or whatever. That's fine. But like, we don't have to do a whole Instagram videography for the whole date. Like,
yeah. I think that people are hung up on showing the world what's going on because everybody is trying to be famous. And everybody knows that you get attention, clicks, likes, and all those things, the more content you put out into the universe. And that obsession has really damaged not only just dating, but relationships. I had a relationship that I was in with someone that was very social media heavy. And it got really interesting because after a while I began to feel like I was in the show, you know, where it became more important to make these posts and things than the relationship. So, you know, while I enjoy a post here and there, I am a live in the moment type of person as well. I don't feel the need to live my life through here. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I had this one dude who was giving me head, and he's like checking his TikTok while he's doing it. I'm like, you good down there?
No!
Absolutely. That would be a deal breaker.
Flag on the play. Absolutely not. I wish the fuck you would. If you are not taking that phone out to record so I can watch this later, it does not need to be. I wish you would be checking your TikTok while you suck my dick.
That means you're not interested. Right?
Not at all. And at
You're
that point,
clearly not
I'm like, why are you here?
Why
Just
are you
get
here?
up. We're not doing this.
Yeah.
God.
I was 16.
I don't.
Still, no.
Still, absolutely not. I don't care. No. You're just not doing that. You're just not. Whew. Okay. All right. That just
Felt that.
wow. I really
that
did.
too much?
took you to
That
another
was
level.
too much. That was great, but it was crazy as shit. After we've had this conversation, what would you say you would take into your next dating situation differently than what you've done before?
Be patient with people. I'm so quick to lose interest. Everybody do have a life. I can't make them move the way I want to move. Just
Go ahead.
be patient with people and try not to come on too strong. I wear my heart on my sleeve, so maybe I should, you know, guard my heart for a while, really feel the person out, and try not to let because you never know when once you feel a vibe in the first 2 minutes, you're like, all right, I'm ready to, you know, have my whole life with this person. Nobody else? No, just me. That's my mindset. So maybe if I slow it down, give it a few weeks before I start, you know, moving too fast. So that's my perspective. You know?
Did that. Very good. How about you?
Mine is kind of the opposite of yours. So, you're kind of like my best friend, and also like
Me?
He just
say,
Oh.
we'll get there. But no, my actual best friend, shout out Johnny. He's the type where he meets somebody, and within 5 minutes, if he's into them, he's already got the wedding planned out. He already sees their future 10 years from now and everything. And I'm like, pump the brakes.
slow down.
But for me, I'm the opposite of that. Like, I'm not rushing to any of that because I know how trifling y'all niggas are. Trifling asses.
Especially
But, what? But I like to go really slow actually. But I would say in my next situation, I should at least show my heart a little more on my sleeve because I protect mine a lot. Okay. And gotcha. So I should, wear it a little bit more on just my sleeve.
Do a little peek every once in a while.
Yeah, a little peek.
Yeah, I dig that. I dig that. Okay. I want to encourage all of you all out there to really take a look into the way that you navigate this dating and relationship world and readjust some shit that just ain't working, y'all. Like, you can't keep going out here and whipping this horse the same way and expecting it to gallop. It's just not going to work. It's going to keep looking at you like you're crazy and not moving. So definitely take some time to reflect and figure it out. In the meantime, in between time, make sure you jump in the comments of this conversation and continue the conversation. Y'all know how I get down. You leave a comment, I'm jumping in and I'm continuing to talk. Okay? All right. So, with that being said, D and Q, thank you all so much for being with me today. Oh, don't get me started. Y'all are so fucking dope. I want you all out there to make sure that you check out the Too Tall podcast. It is airing every Monday at 6 o'clock, yes?
Yes, 6 p.m.
There you go. Every Monday at 6 p.m. Make sure that you check them out, boost them up, and see what they talk about over there. Once again, thank you all so much for being here. I'm going to put their social media information in the comments below. And y'all know what I say. In these conversations, anything is possible, but the focus should always be intentional, y'all. Peace out. Thank you so much. Bye.